The stars above Earth were calm, no sign of danger, no hint of the coming storm. But in the deep space listening station above Mars, that silence was suddenly broken. "Commander, we've intercepted something," said a technician, voice tense. "It's not a transmission from any known system." Commander Elena Ward stood over the technician's console, arms folded. Her sharp eyes scanned the display. A strange symbol pulsed on the screen. Jagged, cold. Then a deep voice crackled through the speakers, harsh, alien, and full of contempt. "Humans of Earth, you are trespassers in the domain of the Zarkalon Empire. Surrender your planet within 7 of your solar cycles, or be erased." The command center fell silent. Within hours, Earth's top leaders gathered at Sol Defense Headquarters, located beneath the moon's surface. The president of Earth's Terran Union, Admiral Rourke, and several intelligence officials watched the transmission replay on a loop. "This isn't a bluff," said Admiral Rourke. "The Zarkalon Empire is real." President Osei leaned forward. "We've never had contact before. Why now?" Before anyone could answer, a red alert blared through the chamber. A hologram showed a live feed of a colony ship near Proxima Centauri exploding into debris. "No survivors," said a voice over comms. It was unprovoked. A clean strike. That was all the confirmation they needed. The threat was real. In her private quarters, Elena Ward sat in silence. The destroyed ship had carried over 2,000 civilians, including her younger brother. Her fists clenched. Moments later, a knock at the door. Admiral Rourke entered. "Elena," he said, "we're activating Project Aegis." Her eyes widened. "You're serious?" "Very. You're the only one I trust to lead it." Project Aegis had been Earth's best-kept secret. A hidden fleet of advanced warships built deep beneath the Moon and Mars. For years humanity had quietly prepared for a first-contact war, fearing that one day they might not be alone. That day had arrived. "I'll do it," Elena said without hesitation. 2 days later, she stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, Earth's most powerful warship. It was her flagship now. "All systems online," said Lieutenant Davis. "Crew reporting in. Weapons, shields, warp engines, all green." Elena looked out at the dark void of space from the bridge window. "This is no longer a question of survival," she said to her crew. "It's about making sure the galaxy knows we will not bow." They nodded. Every face on the bridge was grim, but ready. The countdown had begun. 7 days until the Zarkalon Empire returned. And Earth was going to answer. Beneath the moon's surface, hidden inside a network of steel and stone, lay Earth's greatest secret, the Aegis fleet. Commander Elena Ward walked through the underground hangar, the sound of her boots echoing on the metal floor. Massive ships towered around her, sleek, armored, and built for war. These weren't the civilian crafts people saw in orbit. These were weapons, silent protectors waiting for the right moment. Now that moment had come. Beside her walked Admiral Rourke, his expression as cold as the hulls around them. "We've kept these ships hidden for over 20 years, he said. "Each one equipped with stealth tech, plasma lances, gravity cannons, and quantum shields. The Vanguard is the strongest, but every ship here is ready for battle." Ilana nodded. "What's the fleet count?" 70 ships, 10 heavy cruisers, 5 dreadnoughts, and 20 stealth-class corvettes. The rest are support and logistics. "Enough to take on an empire?" she asked. Rourke gave a bitter smile. "Enough to make them regret starting a war." Ilana spent the next hours meeting her captains. Some were veterans, others young but fiercely trained. They all shared one thing: determination. At the Vanguard's war room she laid out her plans. "We'll split the fleet into 3 strike groups," she said. "Group Alpha holds Sol System. Beta patrols the outer colonies. Gamma will be our hidden blade, waiting in stealth near the Proxima route. If the Zarkalon return, we hit them hard and fast." Captain Ray Torres, commander of the cruiser Resolute, raised a concern. "And what if they don't come alone?" "They will," Ilana replied. "They want to send a message. We'll make sure our reply is louder." Across Earth, fear was spreading. News of the destroyed colony leaked to the public. People began evacuating cities, fearing orbital strikes. Some demanded surrender. Others called for war. In the Terran Union Council, debates turned to arguments. "We don't even know what they want," shouted one representative. "Maybe if we surrender, they'll spare us. And if they don't," replied another. "Do we kneel until we vanish?" President Osei silenced the room. "We will not surrender Earth without a fight. The fleet is ready. Let them come." A day later, a new transmission arrived. This time it was personal. Krexar's image appeared. Tall, armored, eyes glowing with cruel amusement. "So you resist? How interesting. We expected begging. Instead, you prepare your toys for war. 7 days was generous. Now you have 5. Ilana watched the message in silence. Then she turned to her crew. "We're running out of time." Lieutenant Davis stepped forward. "We've been preparing for this. We can win." She nodded. "Then let's make sure the galaxy knows who we are." The fleet went on high alert. War simulations were launched. Weapons were loaded. Engines were tested again and again. Humanity was not standing still. That night, alone in her quarters, Ilana held a small photo of her brother. His smile, frozen in time, gave her strength. She whispered to the stars, "They'll pay for what they did." Her eyes burned with purpose. The countdown continued. 3 days remained. The silence of space stretched across the solar system like a held breath. Earth's defense network scanned every corner, every shadow, waiting, hoping, dreading. And then they came. A squadron of Zarkalon scout ships pierced the edge of Sol system. Sleek, bone-white vessels with glowing red cores. They didn't hide. They wanted to be seen. Commander Elena Ward stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, eyes fixed on the tactical display. "They're here," said Lieutenant Davis. 6 ships, fast and lightly armored. Recon class. "They're testing us," Elena said. "They want to see how we respond." Captain Torres's voice crackled through the comms. "Orders." Elena didn't hesitate. "Engage." In the black of space, Earth's warships moved like shadows. The stealth corvettes from Strike Group Gamma slipped into formation, silent and deadly. "Targets locked," whispered one pilot. "Fire." The first salvo hit the lead Zarkalon ship before it could react. It spun violently, tearing apart into glowing fragments. The remaining alien ships broke formation, returning fire in sharp bursts of plasma. The humans were ready. The Resolute moved in, its plasma lances burning blue streaks through the dark. Another alien vessel exploded. Inside the Vanguard, Elena kept her voice calm. "Focus fire on the lead ship. Don't let them regroup." The battle lasted just 7 minutes. When it was over, all 6 Zarkalon scouts were gone. Not a single human ship was lost. Back in the command room, silence filled the air again. But this time it was different. Tense, yes. But now it carried a spark of hope. "We just won," whispered a young ensign. "We won a skirmish," Elena corrected. "Not the war. They'll send more." But deep down she allowed herself one small moment of pride. They had struck back. On the far edge of the galaxy, inside the golden throne chamber of the Zarkalon capital ship, Overlord Krexar viewed the battle footage. His 4 eyes narrowed. "They fight better than expected," he muttered. His advisor, a pale figure with insect-like features, hovered near. "Shall I send reinforcements?" Krexar waved him off. "No. Let them believe this was a victory. Let them feel brave. Then we crush them." He turned back to the stars, eyes glowing brighter. "They will learn fear." On Earth, celebrations broke out in secret. The government kept the details hidden. But word spread. Humanity had drawn first blood, and survived. In a secure room, President Osei and Admiral Roque reviewed the battle logs. "She handled it well," Osei said. "Ward might be the best commander we've had in a century." Roque nodded. "And she'll need to be." That was a scout group. The real war starts next. Elena returned to her quarters after the battle. She stared out the viewport at the stars. They looked peaceful again, but now she knew better. They weren't peaceful, just quiet. She pulled up a new fleet plan on her tablet. More drills, more defenses, more readiness. There would be no rest. She closed her eyes briefly, remembering the burning debris of the Proxima ship. This was just the beginning. The days of quiet were over. After the skirmish in Sol System, Sarkhalon forces spread across nearby star systems like wildfire. Human colonies in the outer sectors were hit one by one. Communication went dark, supply lines were severed, and survivors trickled in with stories of destruction. The Terran Union was shaken. On board the Vanguard, Commander Elena Ward reviewed the latest reports. Colony Terra 5, gone. Mining base at Luton Star, gone. 3 cargo convoys, vanished. They're trying to isolate us, said Lieutenant Davis. They're surrounding Earth by taking out everything in reach. And they're doing it fast, Elena replied. They want us desperate before they come. But humans weren't retreating, they were adapting. In orbit above Mars, Elena met with her captains via holo conference. The faces were tired but determined. We're launching a coordinated counterattack, she said. They're spread thin across 5 systems. That gives us a chance. She pointed to a glowing map. We'll hit Sarkhalon forces here. Altair, Cygnus, and Vega. Fast strikes. In and out. Captain Torres raised a brow. What about their main fleet? They're keeping it in reserve, probably waiting to strike Earth directly. That gives us time. The captains nodded. Orders were given. Ships launched. The war had expanded. Meanwhile, deep in the shadows of the galaxy, something unexpected happened. A message arrived on encrypted channels. Not human, not Sarkhalon. A rogue alien faction. Exiles from the Krexar regime offered help. Elena met with their representative through a secure hololink. The figure was insectoid, with soft green eyes and a cautious voice. We are the Serani, it said. Long ago, our worlds were taken by Krexar. We fought back. We failed. But we remember your kind. You have spirit. Why help us now? Elena asked. Because if Earth falls, no one else will rise. We offer knowledge. They transmitted detailed schematics of Sarkhalon warships, weak points, fuel cores, and command protocols. It was exactly what Elena needed. Armed with this data, the next battle changed everything. In the orbit of Alpha Centauri, a group of Sarkhalon destroyers ambushed a human medical transport. Elena responded immediately, sending a full strike group led by the Resolute. This time, humans didn't just defend, they outmaneuvered. They outflanked. They won decisively. One alien ship was captured, its data core intact. Elena and her engineers studied it for hours. That's it, she said. They use a central command relay network. If we disrupt it, their ships lose coordination. Lieutenant Davis looked impressed. That's our edge. Elena stared at the star map. And that's how we break their attack on Earth before it begins. The fleet returned to the Sol system, stronger, wiser, and faster. Ships were repaired. New battle tactics were uploaded. Planetary defense platforms were activated across Earth and Luna. Elena addressed her crew from the Vanguard's command deck. They tried to spread fear, but we've shown them we can fight back. Smart and strong. This is our home, and we're not done yet. Far away on his golden flagship, Overlord Krexar watched it all unfold. The humans had won again. This time, it bothered him. He stood from his throne and pointed to the stars. Prepare the invasion force. We go to Earth. The alarm sounded across every command post. The skies above Earth were no longer empty. They're here, said Lieutenant Davis. His voice steady but tense. A massive fleet of Sarkhalon warships had entered Sol system. Over 50 enemy vessels, battleships, carriers, and the golden flagship of Overlord Krexar now approached Earth with fire in their engines. From orbit, they looked like a swarm of glowing serpents. Commander Elena Ward stood at the center of the Vanguard's bridge, calm, focused. This is what we trained for, she said. All ships to formation. Activate battle plan Eclipse. Across space, Earth's hidden war fleet emerged from the dark, 70 ships in perfect formation. The trap was set. Hours earlier, Elena had finalized the boldest move of the war, a fake surrender. President Osei had delivered a public message, broadcast across all known systems. We accept the Zarkalon Empire's demand for peace. Our fleet will stand down. Earth will surrender. But it was a lie, a calculated deception meant to lure the enemy in close. Now Krexar's fleet moved in, confident and unguarded. The moment they crossed Mars's orbit, Elena gave the command. Now, suddenly human ships uncloaked. Gravity mines detonated near the lead alien cruisers, tearing them apart in seconds. Plasma lances from the Vanguard lit up the void. Missiles streaked from Luna's surface defense cannons. The battle had begun. The sky above Earth became a storm of light and fire. Zarkalon ships fired back, their red beams slicing through the blackness. 2 human cruisers were lost early, Horizon and Blade, but the remaining ships held strong, using the new tactics learned in the outer battles. Elena's voice rang through the fleet-wide comms. Focus on the command relays. Disrupt their network. Split them apart. Strike teams targeted specific enemy vessels, overwhelming them with speed and precision. Without coordination, the Zarkalon ships began to falter. But then came the flagship. Krexar's golden warship advanced, larger and more powerful than anything the fleet had seen. It fired a supercharged beam, destroying a human dreadnought in a single shot. Inside the Vanguard, alarms flared. He's targeting us, Davis warned. Good, Elena said. Bring us in. The Vanguard flew straight toward Krexar's ship. Enemy fighters swarmed it. Shields dropped to 40%. Hull breaches sparked fire across decks. But Elena didn't slow down. She had one shot. Target their primary engine core, she ordered. Fire all plasma batteries. Blue-white blasts struck the enemy ship's rear. Explosions erupted along its spine. Inside, Krexar roared in rage. The Vanguard circled behind the massive warship like a hawk. Fire the last torpedo, Elena said. A final shot launched. It pierced the flagship's weakened rear armor and detonated deep inside. The golden ship shook, then went dark. Krexar's flagship was dead. The rest of the alien fleet began to retreat. Without Krexar, their morale shattered. Let them go, Elena ordered. They'll carry the message. The battle was over. Earth had won. Smoke rose from Earth's atmosphere as debris from the battle slowly drifted in orbit. The stars above were calm once more, but now they carried a new meaning. Earth was no longer just a blue planet on the edge of space. It was a name whispered across the galaxy with caution and respect. Inside the Vanguard, Commander Elena Ward stood before her crew. Every face was tired, bruised but proud. You did it, she said softly. You fought, you endured, and you won. The crew didn't cheer. Not yet. There was still the weight of loss in the air. Ships destroyed, friends gone, scars carved into the very sky. But there was also something powerful growing in their hearts. Hope. Far beyond Sol System, in the shadows of deep space, the damaged flagship of Overlord Krexar drifted slowly. The once golden ship was now cracked and scorched, its engines offline. Krexar, wounded and silent, stared into the void. He had never expected humans to fight like this. A message played across his fractured command console, replaying on loop. Earth is not yours. Tell the galaxy. He said nothing, just watched as the stars passed by, his empire shaken. Back on Earth, President Osei addressed the world from Unity Tower. Today we honor those who stood for more than just survival. They stood for our right to exist, to be free, and to never kneel before tyranny. The Terran Union remains strong, and we are no longer alone. We are recognized. Across human colonies, people gathered to celebrate. The fear was gone. In its place stood pride. At Luna Command, new alliances were forming. Messages from other alien races, once silent out of fear, now arrived daily. The Serani, the Drolans, even former Zarkalon subjects, now wanted to stand with Earth. Humanity had become a symbol. In the shipyard near Saturn, Repairs began on damaged vessels. The Vanguard received new armor. The fallen ships were honored, their names etched into a memorial wall. Commander Elena Ward stood alone near the docking bay, looking at the names of those lost. Her brother's name was among them. She placed a hand on the wall. "We kept our promise," she whispered. Admiral Rourke joined her quietly. "You changed everything, Elena. The galaxy won't look at us the same way again." Elena nodded. "Good. We're not weak. We never were." He smiled. "What now?" She turned back to the stars. "Now we prepare. Because peace never lasts forever." From the darkness, Earth had risen, not as a victim, not as prey, but as a force that refused to fall.